Making wooden bowls is one of my most enjoyable woodworking pastimes. You can get a useful object, they can be exceedingly beautiful, they are fun to make, and can be completed in short order. And Rockler has a huge variety of ready-to-turn blanks and a spectrum of species, and that's what I'm talking about today. A common question about bowl turning blanks is whether they're kiln dried, seasoned well, or whether they're green. The answer is that they can be either. The likelihood is if you buy a blank like this, it's going to be green or wet wood, especially so if it has wax on the outside of it. But the best way to go forward is just to treat them as if they're green. And by that I mean leave the wax on. The only way to know 100% is to use a moisture meter. I can almost hear you saying, I thought we wanted to get the water moisture out of the wood fibers. Well, you're correct, but we want to do it at the right point in time. Here's a couple of options. If you've got a green blank like this one, the best practice is to rough out your bowl while the wood is still saturated with water. It makes the turning process much easier. You'll really love it. Many woodworkers get a bowl blank roughly turned and then stop. Once you have the bowl turned within about 10% of the final shape, say like in this case where we've got the walls about 1/2 inch, now you have a decision to make. You can stop your turning process right here and set the bowl aside and let it come to equilibrium, to let it dry out. And that would be a couple weeks, maybe even longer, like a month. Or you can continue turning as it is in the green. If you keep going while the bowl is still green wood, after you have sanded and applied the finish, the wood fibers will continue to dry and the bowl will likely become oval in shape. If you let the roughed out bowl dry in this state, then later when you complete the turning, it will stay closer to round. But here's what you should not do. You shouldn't scrape the wax off the blank and then set it aside for storage. This wax is on there to slow the moisture release in the wood fibers and keep it from cracking. If you do scrape it off and set it aside, it's likely to crack. If you're going to let your roughly turned bowl dry, just set it on a shelf and let it sit there for a couple of weeks, maybe even a month. Some wood turners use a brown paper bag full of sawdust and they put their blank in there and it kind of slows the process down, hopefully to limit some cracking. Other folks use a desiccant to actually speed the process up. It's your call. But just know that at some point in time, if you're turning green bowls, 1 or 2 of them may likely crack regardless of how you treat them. But me, I'm a big fan of oval bowls and just moving forward. So when it comes to dealing with turning blanks, pre-made turning blanks, I hope you learned a couple of things. And if that has been useful, I'm Rob Johnstone. Thank you for watching.